What a breakout today. Let's go ahead and recap the move following the pretty explosive NFP action. Essentially what we had here, we come into the session following Thursday's inside bar. If you remember, we were looking at the back-to-back 2 consecutive daily inside bars. So anytime you have an inside bar, you want to watch for a break of the inside bar and then go with the direction of the break. Coming into the session this morning, we had ES trading near that 4,300 resistance point. Key resistance, prior support becomes key resistance. Remember, this was a prior range. We break down out of that range. Wednesday, we retest the range high. Thursday gives us an inside day with, once again, action against that 4,300. This morning, ahead of the bell, ahead of NFP, we're retesting the 4,300 again. So that is still resistance. Coming into NFP, slow drift lower, ultimately resolves following the data into a momentum move down into prior day low. So the main watch following NFP was essentially the reaction versus that prior day low. We were looking for some potential continuation if the sellers stepped into that 42.35, 42.30 area. Remember the significance of that level. This is really important, is that it is the daily volume point of control. Okay, so when we look back over essentially the year so far, if we go year to date right here, where has most of the volume transacted for this year? And it is at this volume point of control right here. So 42.35 area. So this ends up being a massive reference point. In this case, it was a level of support. Essentially, we get into the open. Sellers are unable to sustain the move lower, right? You have an initial pop following NFP ahead of the opening bell, a bit of drift lower. If we look at the sequence here, you have a move lower, right? Bounce, normal pullback. Here's your higher low right at the prior day low. That essentially ignited the move into our 42.77 level. And again, that level is last Wednesday's low. It has been a significant level of interest all week. Break above, no real resistance there. Pull back, another higher low. And that essentially pushes us into the 4,300. You get some consolidation, no real selling there. Pretty much higher prices are being accepted. And that triggers the breakout. Price never looks back. Essentially setting up a trend day. So once we break that prior day high, you have a break of the inside bar to the upside. And now we're testing those upside targets, 43.35, 43.50, and probably just get some drift into the close here. So what's next? What's next? Well, I've been mentioning all week that I thought this undercut of last Wednesday's low, last Wednesday, September 27th, I thought the undercut of that low could potentially mark the seasonal low. So I do expect this with a pretty high degree of probability to mark the seasonal low into end of year. When we look at the kind of seasonality overview, that's how it tends to look. You want to be watching for a low in early October. I suspect this is it. We do have a breakout here, a reversal essentially versus the 200 MA area on big volume. Right. And so what we'll be looking for now come Monday, come next week is some continuation up through this prior resistance point. When we actually look at the daily chart here, keep the structure in mind, right? So here's a high, here's a lower high, here's a lower high. The next lower high is right through here. That's where we are right now. So yeah, we saw a change in character above 4,300 on the near term charts, right? The kind of more not micro term, but more intermediate term, like your 15 and 30 minute. And now we've got that good continuation up through the 43.50. So that'll be the main watch. That'll give a change of character on the on the daily chart. From that point, it's essentially just look for, continuation. Of course, it won't be up in a straight line, but we'll just be looking for continuation up into here. And that's a multi-week, potentially a multi-month move. So just forward thinking, as far as Monday specifically, it's just 43.50, right? The structure high. Just look for some continuation. We like to see a follow-through day after these trend days, though it could start to consolidate. Could see a little bit of consolidation after a trend day, after a vol expansion day. Volatility expansion is not unusual to see volatility contraction. And so if you missed today's move and you're feeling some FOMO and you're thinking, oh, I'll get it Monday, you just kind of want to reset your expectations for the next session. Back-to-back trend days can happen, but they are definitely rare. I don't come into any session following a trend day thinking it's going to be another trend day. That's a good way to get walloped. And so we'll just look at the reaction versus 43.50. Take it from there, right? As far as individual names, we have Airbnb, Swing Watch 200 MA, right? Holding nicely. The weekly also has some structure here. AMD Swing Watch. This one, I really wanted the entry versus the 200 MA. Missed it. Now it's triggering the breakout. Very tough to chase it up here. And so I'm going to wait. Need some kind of pullback to get involved here. But this setup looks amazing if you have a piece right now. Congrats. Hold on to it. Meta, also Swing Watch. We're looking at massive trend, correction through time, right? Just some consolidation, reaccumulation, and it's triggering a breakout now. So that's on watch as well. PDD for a second day play. Look at this daily breakout. Pretty nice. Here's a clean wedge, right? Price pushes into the apex of the wedge. It breaks out. I don't really trade that pattern, but as long as you understand what's happening here within price, big move, right? Market structure, you get tighter coiling like a spring coils, and then you get the expansion move. So PDD, we look for the second day play. This is broader context as a big base. So that's on watch. China pretty strong today. Walmart, not sure what happened here. Big news or something. But we have a big move there, pretty much a washout into your 200 MA and bounce. Big bounce. So another example of that daily volume point of control, right? Comes down a couple points off, but we could call that close enough. You have the 200 MA there, big confluence for an area of support. And it bounces nicely. So that Walmart will be on watch come Monday. Not sure what the news was there. That is big volume, and so I would expect news. But maybe not. Could just be a technical move. NQ, let's take a look. NQ, yeah, same thing. So I think it was yesterday we were talking about the range. Right, watch for a breakout of that range. Daily support is down here at 14,600. Today it's breaking out. So pretty straightforward stuff. We're just looking for continuation of that breakout. You do have near-term volume point of control, daily volume point of control. Overhead should be the same thing on ES, actually. Let's take a look, verify that. Yeah, you got a big volume node up here. Right up here if I zoom in. So we still have a lot of volume overhead. I wouldn't say that, bulls are out of the woods just yet by any means, but today was definitely the start of what I would expect to be a reversal, like a reversal of this daily move, especially as we get into earnings season. So NQ, pretty much the same thing. Setup is a little cleaner here. You have that range, does not break daily support. Right, we love that. Support did not break. So again, NQ trading a little bit cleaner than the ES. Let's check the intraday here. I'm kind of curious. Yeah, so it did not even, gets down in there near that overnight low from Wednesday. Very similar to ES, but just rips it. So looking good, looking bullish. Definitely near-term structures are breaking out to the upside. And Q, Benny, I see your question there. 15,200, 15,300 as far as targets you're asking. Let's see. So we're testing the 21 MA right now. That's going to be a decent reference point. Your 15,130 just as a reference point. This move should show some continuation up into, that 15,375 area. 375, that's another daily move. ATR is 275 here. So that's only a less than one ATR move away. All right, it's doable in one day. Now look at this. You do have the volume void. So we can expect this volume void to be filled pretty quickly. It's already halfway there, more than halfway there. And the volume void pretty much ends at about 15,250. So yeah, you're spot on. This thing, it's such a large number, right, that you're really going to want to treat it as zones rather than precise levels. You could be off by 50 points here and still be technically correct. So probably why NQ from a risk management perspective is a little more challenging to trade. But yeah, that's NQ. Looking good. So that's pretty much it. You guys have any questions? Everything making sense? Easiest money play today by far, the retest of the 4277 level. Amazing. You don't even have to get involved all through here, right? Just wait. It resolves higher. Okay, buyers have the ball. They pull back. There's your entry at the key level with prior structure. So nice. Doesn't get much cleaner than that. And then the beauty is that with a good trailing system, you're in until about the next target, 43.35, right? Yeah, I'm looking forward to some easier conditions. I do think conditions are going to get a bit easier here. Here's the thing to understand. When markets are turning, right? When the index is turning, it's like a big ship. It takes a while to turn. A lot of new traders, this happened to me frequently, during those balance periods, during those kind of shifts, very, very easy to just get chopped up all through here, right? The trends should be relatively easy to nail. That was like the June, right? June breakout, everyone's making money. Into July, we start to shift. It gets a little trickier. Yeah, turn and churn. And so it definitely is more challenging. I do think we have an easier environment on the horizon. Of course, no crystal ball or anything, right? I'm just working with kind of the seasonal chart and the current daily setup. Could be totally off, but that's just my expectation based on kind of what we're seeing right now, how price is unfolding, at least into end of the year. So hopefully this marks a seasonal low. We start to drift higher, right? Those are like pretty similar to what we saw in June. Those are the easy money conditions. Big picture. We still have easy money trades within these more challenging conditions, but remember the easier conditions, they give you more room for error essentially, right? You don't have to be as precise, and if you're wrong, it's not as painful essentially. So definitely something to look forward to. Even if you have the skill set for the harder conditions, it's like why wouldn't you want it to be easier? Then you can really make even more. Like when we have action like this where it just drifts higher, and you just need a good entry and you can really ride. None of that two-way trading. Just look for a good entry and really ride it. Yeah, NQ is usually a leader. I try not to watch it too much, honestly. There was a period there where I was trading it side by side with ES. I found it, I go back and forth on this, so I may change my mind in the future, but I took it off for a while, brought it back, took it off again. I tend to prefer, just focusing on one thing. Tend to do better when my eyeballs are on one thing. I just specialize in the singular thing. That tends to work best for me. And so if I just take QQQ, NQ off of my screens, I tend to do better. But I agree with you that the RS there was definitely a good indicator. The problem becomes is when you see something like that and then you're thinking, well, ES needs to bounce here or something like that, and you end up just kind of ignoring what ES is showing you, right? So it can kind of blind you. It can definitely be a negative. So something to think about, definitely. But all right, I'm going to hop off here. Have a great weekend. Hope you guys had a great week. And I'll chat with you all on Monday. Watch for the weekly kickoff on Sunday. Take care, guys.